Do you know who I am? That viral moment from Glorilla's DUI stop had the internet laughing until her latest arrest flipped the mood. In July 2025, Glorilla was arrested for felony possession after her home was broken into. She wasn't even there. Now, leaked jail footage has surfaced, and fans are furious. How does a robbery victim end up in handcuffs? What really happened that night? Let's break it all down.
Glorilla's arrest, a victim turned suspect. On July 22, 2025, Glorilla wasn't just trending, she was booked. The Memphis rapper, fresh off performing at the WNBA All-Star Game, turned herself in to Georgia authorities after being charged with felony marijuana possession and possession of a Schedule I controlled substance. But here's where things get twisted. She was actually the victim of a violent home invasion just 2 days earlier. While Glorilla was electrifying the halftime show in Indianapolis, 3 suspects broke into her home in Forsyth County's upscale St. Marlow neighborhood around 1:30 a.m. A family member inside fired warning shots as the burglars stole jewelry and fled. Police responded, but instead of chasing down the intruders, they claimed to smell marijuana, then returned with a search warrant. Inside her master bedroom closet, they allegedly found over an ounce of weed and an unidentified Schedule I substance. Glorilla wasn't even there. But 2 days later, she showed up, posted a $22,260 bond, and walked out. The headlines, however, told a different story. Glorilla arrested, mugshot goes viral, and felony charges filed. Social media lit up, not just because of her arrest, but because of how wrong it all felt. The question everyone started asking was simple. How does a black woman get arrested for being robbed? And even more chilling, why was she the only one in cuffs? But that's only the beginning. What happened next turned this case into a cultural flashpoint.
The home invasion that changed everything. The chaos started in the early hours of July 20th, 2025. Glorilla was nowhere near home. She was in Indianapolis, hyping up the crowd at the WNBA All-Star Game halftime show. Her energy was electric. The players were dancing courtside, and for a moment, everything seemed to be going right in her career. Meanwhile, back in Forsyth County, Georgia, something terrifying was unfolding. Around 1:30 a.m., 3 suspects broke into Glorilla's home in the St. Marlow subdivision, a gated community known for its exclusivity. They didn't just creep around quietly, they went straight for her valuables. But what they didn't expect was that someone was home. A family member, startled and scared, fired shots in self-defense, and the suspects fled, stealing jewelry but leaving no one physically harmed. Police arrived quickly, but instead of prioritizing the burglary investigation, they claimed to smell marijuana inside the house. That's when things took a disturbing turn. Rather than focusing on the people who had just violated her home, the cops shifted their attention. They obtained a search warrant, scoured the house, and found a stash of marijuana, over 1 ounce, and a Schedule I controlled substance in Glorilla's bedroom closet. She wasn't even in the state. But days later, she walked into the Forsyth County Jail and was hit with felony charges. It didn't matter that her home had just been broken into. It didn't matter that she had an alibi, backed by televised footage. All that mattered to authorities was the weed they found and who owned the home. And that's what lit the match. To fans, this wasn't just another celebrity run-in with the law. It was a clear case of injustice, and the internet was about to make sure it didn't get buried. Next, the internet explodes, and Glorilla fights back.
Internet reacts, they did her dirty. As soon as the news hit that Glorilla had been arrested, not the burglars who broke into her home, but Glorilla herself, the internet erupted.
Fans, fellow artists, and even legal commentators took to social media to express what everyone was thinking. This makes no sense. The backlash began with Glorilla's own post on X, formerly Twitter, where she laid out the situation in plain terms. "My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star Game. And instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focus on some cannabis." The post struck a nerve. Within hours, it had racked up over 60,000 likes and thousands of reposts. It wasn't just about defending Glorilla, it was about calling out what people saw as a broken system with upside-down priorities. Supporters didn't hold back. One viral tweet read, "So let me get this straight. Glorilla's house gets broken into, she's not even home, and somehow she's the only one who gets arrested? That's crazy work." Another gained traction with this. "They'll do anything to bring you down. Imagine being the victim and still ending up in cuffs." Her legal team didn't waste time either. Attorneys Drew Finding and Marissa Goldberg released a statement condemning the arrest as a disturbing example of misplaced law enforcement priorities. Their message was clear: the real criminals walked free while the homeowner got dragged through the mud. The outrage wasn't limited to hip-hop Twitter, it hit mainstream coverage. Blogs, reaction channels, and even law-focused YouTubers jumped in to analyze how a routine burglary report turned into a felony arrest for the wrong person. The narrative was no longer just about Glorilla. It became a symbol of how justice can fail, loudly, publicly, and unapologetically. And it wasn't the first time Georgia cops had Glorilla in their sights.
Legal pattern. This wasn't her first arrest. To fans watching this unfold, the July arrest wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a growing pattern, and it had them asking, why does Georgia keep targeting Glorilla? Flash back to April 2024 in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Glorilla was pulled over for making an illegal U-turn at a red light. What started as a routine traffic stop quickly spiraled into a DUI investigation. The reason? They claimed they smelled alcohol and marijuana inside the vehicle. That's when Glorilla dropped a line that would go viral across hip-hop Twitter and meme pages for months. "Do you know who I am?" The officer's deadpan response? "No, I don't. Cold." That "do you know who I am" moment instantly became meme gold, plastered across TikTok, reaction videos, and remix edits. But behind the humor was a deeper concern. The body cam footage showed her struggling through sobriety tests, slurring speech, and even experiencing what fans called a wardrobe malfunction. Despite all that, she avoided jail time. The details of the legal outcome were kept quiet, but the case closed without serious consequences. Still, it painted a picture, especially when you line it up with her July 2025 arrest just over a year later. 2 run-ins with Georgia law enforcement, 2 drug-related charges, and both times, fans felt like the system wasn't just policing her, it was looking for a reason to pin something on her. That's why her supporters weren't just mad, they were suspicious. Was it bad luck? Or was Glorilla becoming a target for local law enforcement because of her fame, her race, or her past? And just when people thought the worst was behind her, an old rumor reemerged, one so bizarre it had people questioning reality. You've heard of rappers going to jail, but what about 3 years in prison for serial?
Rumors, memes, and the serial prison story. Before she was making headlines for real arrests, Glorilla was already going viral for a completely fake one. Back in 2023, a bizarre rumor exploded across social media. Glorilla had allegedly served 3 years in prison for stealing cereal from Kmart. Yep, cereal. At first, it sounded so ridiculous that nobody could believe it was real. But as with most things online, the more people shared it, the more it morphed into fact. What most fans didn't realize was that the whole thing originated from a comedy skit.
Glorilla appeared on Funny Marco's YouTube show, where Marco jokingly asked about a made-up story involving stealing cereal, and she played along, staying in character for laughs. But some fans didn't get the joke. By April 2023, the satire had spiraled into full-blown internet fiction. People were posting memes, fake mugshots, and even remixing clips of her interviews to fit the narrative. Eventually, Glorilla had to shut it down herself. Y'all really sat up there and believed I went to jail for 3 years for stealing cereal? Why y'all believe whatever someone tell you? She was frustrated but also amused. And who could blame her? In an era where anything can go viral, even a fake cereal felony became part of her public story. But this wasn't just a weird internet moment. It was another example of how quickly misinformation can spread, especially for Black female artists. For Glorilla, it was a reminder that even jokes can turn into damage when you're in the spotlight. And while this rumor eventually faded, it showed that the internet is always watching and always ready to twist your story. But compared to what came next, the cereal rumor was child's play, because the real rap trauma was just getting started, and it had names, shade, and Twitter warfare. Let's talk about JT.
JT feud, when rap beef turns nuclear. If you thought a fake cereal story was wild, just wait until you hear about Glorilla's full-blown Twitter war with JT from City Girls, a rap feud so messy it had fans refreshing their feeds non-stop. It all began with whispers in October 2023. Rumors swirled that something went down between Glorilla and JT backstage at the 2023 MTV VMAs. Podcaster Armin Wiggins stirred the pot, claiming Glorilla approached JT with a friendly hug, and JT gave her a nasty cold shoulder, rolling her eyes and ignoring her completely. Some even claimed a slap was involved, though no footage ever surfaced. Typical industry gossip, right? But it didn't die down. It simmered. Then, in April 2024, Glorilla dropped her mixtape Ethang-Ang, and a track titled 8 reignited the flames. The lyrics? "Me and JT ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefin'." Fans instantly linked the line to the VMA drama, and JT wasn't having it. She exploded on Twitter, denying the slap and accusing Glorilla of being messy, sneaky, and phony. She went for the jugular, mocking Glow's appearance. "You look like you were born feet first." She even posted her own mugshot with a blank space captioned "pending," suggesting she was ready for a fight. Glorilla clapped back, hard. "Fix them ugly wigs. Shut your dumb ass up. I ain't slap you with my hand, maybe a purse." The beef got so petty, so personal, that fans couldn't look away. It became a spectacle. Memes, subtweets, TikTok edits, the full internet drama package. And while it burned hot, it didn't last long. Eventually, Glorilla told reporters, "Me and JT ain't besties, but we not beefin'." Fans were divided. Some blamed Glorilla for fanning the flames. Others thought JT overreacted. But everyone agreed on one thing: it was entertaining as hell. But the drama wasn't over, because just one careless song choice was about to blow up another close friendship, this time with someone way more personal, Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion fallout, when one song nearly ended a friendship. Just when things started to cool off with JT, Glorilla found herself in even deeper waters, this time with someone she actually considered a friend, Megan Thee Stallion. On May 21st, 2025, Glorilla posted a simple Instagram story, just a quote. Harmless, right? Except the background music playing was YDR by Tory Lanez, the same Tory Lanez convicted in 2022 for shooting Megan in the feet. Whether intentional or not, that song choice hit a nerve, hard. The timing couldn't have been worse. Megan had just gone live days earlier, opening up about the harassment and trauma she still faced from Lanez supporters. So for Glorilla, someone who'd toured with her, collaborated with her, to even touch his music felt like a slap in the face.
Within hours, the fallout was real. Megan unfollowed Glorilla, deleted joint posts, and fans noticed a birthday tribute had mysteriously vanished from both accounts. Twitter went into overdrive. How do you accidentally post a Tory Lanez track after what Megan's been through? Or, Megan helped put her on, and this is the thanks she gets? The pressure forced Glorilla to respond quickly. She deleted the story and took to Instagram, calling it an innocent repost. Didn't realize the song was his. Deleted it soon as I saw y'all's comments. She even refollowed Megan and reposted old memories, signaling she wanted peace. To some fans, the apology checked out. In a world flooded with music, it's not impossible to miss a track's artist. But to Megan's die-hard supporters, the hotties, that excuse felt thin. Megan herself stayed silent. No tweets, no interviews, just a social media cold shoulder. But behind the scenes, sources said the two talked it out, and by July, they were following each other again with no public signs of tension. Still, the incident was a wake-up call. One slip online can undo years of friendship. For Glorilla, it was more than a PR crisis. It was a lesson in how the industry works. Loyalty is currency, and social media is a minefield. Yet somehow, even through that storm, her career kept climbing, and the next chapter proved just how far she'd come.
From controversy to career powerhouse. Through arrests, rumors, and feuds, Glorilla never stopped moving forward. In fact, every headline, good or bad, seemed to fuel her rise even more. While some artists get buried under controversy, Glo used it as momentum. Born Gloria Hallelujah Woods in Memphis, her journey started far from the spotlight. She was raised in the church, where she honed her voice singing in choirs. But at 16, she lost her singing voice due to illness, and that's when she pivoted to rap. That setback, it became the foundation of her identity. Gritty, adaptable, real. Her early mixtapes, Most Likely Up Next and Peace Status, gave Memphis a new voice, one that didn't just sound different, it felt different. But it was April 2022's FNN, Let's Go with Hit Kid, that changed everything. The track went viral for its rawness and anthem-like energy. It got her signed to Yo Gotti's CMG, aligning her with Memphis royalty. From there, her career went into overdrive. 2023 XXL Freshman Class, a platinum hit with Cardi B on Tomorrow 2, Wannabe with Megan Thee Stallion lighting up charts, a debut album Glorious peaking at number 5 on Billboard 200. But Glorilla wasn't just climbing charts, she was crossing boundaries. Her gospel rap hybrid, Rain Down on Me with Kirk Franklin and Maverick City Music, shocked the industry when it won the 2025 BET Dr. Bobby Jones Best Gospel and Inspirational Award. That win sparked backlash from traditional gospel fans, but Glo stood tall, embracing both her faith and her evolution. Her live performances became legendary, from electrifying WNBA halftime shows to shutting down stages on her Glorious tour. Glorilla proved she was more than hype, she was a headliner. Even her personal life became part of the story. Her public celibacy journey, which began as a 90-day challenge, turned into a viral faith-based commitment. Through humor, honesty, and a little holy struggle, she connected with fans in a way that felt real. No gimmicks. So while the headlines focused on her mugshots and feuds, the truth was this: Glorilla was building an empire, one verse, one show, one viral moment at a time. But fame has a price, and even when you're on top, the past has a way of showing up at your front door.
Final word: system, stardom, and survival. Glorilla's story isn't just about viral moments or platinum plaques. It's about surviving a system that was never built for her, and still coming out louder, stronger, and more unapologetic than ever. In July 2025, she wasn't just facing another mugshot, she was facing a reality check. A black woman, a robbery victim, somehow became the only one arrested, and the people who actually broke into her home, still unidentified, still free. That moment stripped away the music, the fame, and the memes, exposing a deeper issue: how often the system flips victimhood into criminality when it comes to young black artists. Yet, even with legal drama circling, she didn't fold. Glorilla walked out of jail the same day she turned herself in. Days later, she was back on stage, headlining Blow Bash in Memphis, delivering bars like nothing had touched her. That wasn't just resilience, it was a statement. She's not playing the industry game by the old rules. She's not waiting for permission. She's redefining what strength looks like in the spotlight, balancing faith and fire, controversy and confidence. From fake serial arrests to real mugshots, from Twitter beefs to gospel stages, Glorilla has lived the kind of chaotic, culture-shifting career that most artists couldn't survive. But she's still standing, and more importantly, still climbing. Her story is a mirror, reflecting how talent, trauma, and tenacity collide in today's music industry. It's a warning shot to law enforcement, a clapback to industry politics, and a love letter to every underdog who's been doubted, targeted, or silenced. And if you think Glorilla's going anywhere, think again. Because every scandal, every song, every setback has only made her louder. She didn't just make it out of Memphis, she made Memphis proud.